You're not getting enough engagement on your posts, on your social media, on your content. Well, let's help fix that on this episode coming up right after this intro. Join me in my mission to help put at least 50,000 music artists on the right track to be independently successful with their music, to turn the talent that they have with their voice into gold. My name is Billy Nellis, and welcome to the Golden Voice Podcast. Boom! All right, so let's get right into it. And today we're going to talk about a subject or a topic that a lot of independent music artists want to know about, and it's how do we actually increase engagement with an audience that might not engage back with you as much as you want to? And for that, I had to bring a special guest. He's a good friend of mine. We actually met in person. So I'm not just saying that he's a friend, just to say that he's a friend. We actually met in person. We have a great connection together. And he's also an educator, geeks out about marketing just like me. He has a YouTube channel with over 282,000 subscribers. So if there's somebody that knows a little bit about social media, engagement, building an audience, and overall music marketing, well, it's going to be this gentleman. So without further ado, let me bring on, well, actually, let me put on my golden headphones because we're about to drop some gold on here. So let me bring on my friend, Adam Ivy. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? Thank you so much for the opportunity to connect. As always, we talk all the time anyway, but it's good to be able to drop some knowledge bombs and perspective on your show, which, congratulations on launching the podcast. You've been doing great things, been keeping up with you. If you're watching this right now and you're not subscribed, if you haven't left a review, what are you waiting on?
Exactly. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of your time, because I know you're busy. You know what I mean? You're a businessman, just to come on here and to share some of the gems that we need as musicians. But anyways, just go over, for those that are going to be tuning in, just go over a little bit about your background, your story, who you are, where you're from, and stuff like that. And then we'll jump right into how to increase engagement with an audience on social media. Let's get it.
Sure. So my name's Adam Ivy. I've been producing since 2006. I did music production full time for about 8 or 9 years, 6-figure income. And then I went legally deaf in my left ear, which threw me off completely. Luckily, God had really left me with an awesome ability to teach people, even though I was a horrible student in school. Helping friends led to making YouTube videos, led to people asking if I had a course and if I could help them directly. And now I help people with their music marketing. I still produce. The hearings come back a little bit, but I have a couple other businesses in the tech space, as well as a virtual platform or digital platform for producers to sell their beats online called thecharts.com. And here we are. I'm a marketing nerd. I did corporate marketing at an executive level for about 10 years, a little over. Loved it, just didn't necessarily love what we were marketing. So I leaned full force into the music creator economy and said, hey, how can I be of service? And here we are. I mean, that's how you and I connected, essentially. And so it's provided so many blessings for myself and the circle and the family and friend circle that I hold close and near and dear to my heart.
Exactly. Like investing in myself, getting in the room got me to create great connections and great friendship with individuals like you that are always, want to think a little bit ahead, to continue to learn. We don't know everything, but we're on an ongoing learning journey, and that's what's important. If we can be a little bit ahead and share some value to others with the stuff that we learn, I think that's where we can find fulfillment. So with that said, let's jump into the topic. So what I always like to do when it comes to marketing is I always start by being crystal clear on who I want to serve, right? Yeah. And then I go on to create some content, depending on the platform that I'm going to use, right? To put myself in front of the people with the message that I have that's going to start to attract them, right? So the goal after that is to create an engaged audience, which a lot of music artists think that they have to focus on the metrics, like the number of followers that you have, which doesn't necessarily mean that something effective is going on if you don't build that solid foundation. And what's really important, I think, is to have an engaged audience, like great engagement. Like you've seen it where you have accounts that may have 1 million followers on them, but there's only 10 people liking the post and one comment or something like that, to where you compare it to another account that has only 1,000 people following, and then the engagement is crazy. So what would you share on that topic in terms of helping increasing engagement on an account that may not have the engagement that is supposed to be getting?
So I believe that if you make content for one, you can serve all within your target audience. And what I mean by that is if you're making music or instrumentals, beats for one specific individual who really needs it, and your verbiage, your attitude, the way you present, what you deliver is really going to provide that one hypothetical, metaphorical target audience member with an incredible amount of value. Typically, unless you're like super outlying, like providing like Celtic hip hop for rock music, like something that nobody's really looking for.
Right.
All jokes aside, you lead that path with an incredible experience that then serves everybody that resonates and everybody that aligns with that one person. I think that so many times we overlook the importance of being a leader and being able to talk to people with respect and resonate within the messaging to where they trust you, they like you, they follow you into whatever you're bringing them into. It's not just, oh, I followed and then off to the next thing. It's like that person, whether it's Big Shot Beats, whether it's myself or 10,000 other people, it's like, I really believe in what they're saying. I believe in what they're providing. It makes me feel a certain sort of way that's hopefully good, to where now when you're having a conversation, it's a conversation, it's engaging. So many times I see people on Instagram or even YouTube for that matter that just talk to a wall. It's not engaging, it's not inviting, it's not warm, nobody resonates with it or relates to it. And it's just like going up to people at work or people at, an event or something and just making a statement rather than bringing up a topic and asking questions. We can't serve to a level in which is going to bring us the recognition, the financial resources, the things that we're looking to do in our life within our businesses, unless we're asking questions to refine what we're providing the marketplace. And I think so many people believe they know everything to where they're like, I have what you need here, 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 rather than like, hey, let's talk about what I can provide for you. And so that conversational element is so freaking important. And I think a lot of people, I mean, it's easy with the pandemic, where we just lock ourselves in our house for 2 years, close to, and we don't know how to interact with people socially as much as we would probably, like to be able to do. But that's one thing that I think a lot of people overlook is the soft skills, the personability, the salesmanship, the being able to lead a conversation that is so important to driving that engagement. Engagement is broken down into engage, right? Like you want to engage with something, you feel driven, you feel moved to engage with something. And that's a skill set that I think a lot of people need to lean into and get better at, just like the parents out there that send their kids up to pick up their food at a restaurant or go to talk to strangers. It's building those social skills. And as adults, I think a lot of us need to build our social skills as well, because everything, and I know a lot of people might cringe at me saying this, but everything relates to that P2P, that person-to-person relationship, the salesmanship, the marketing. It's all building those connections with people. And I think it's overlooked by a lot of music creators, just like to make the music and overlook the importance of how to get it out into the world.
Something very important that you said there with everything that you just shared is asking questions. I think that if there's one tip that we can share here, and I think both you and I agree to that, is asking questions can go a long way, right? Just like in the captions of a post that we can put out there, or just in the comment. And the social aspect, like you were just sharing, is important because there's a reason why the word social media has the word social in it, right? We have to be able to communicate and build a solid foundation with the people that we're building relationship with and being social with on social media, being a part of the conversation, right? So would you say that it's something that's really important when it comes to increasing engagement on social media, as per asking questions is one of those things?
I think a few different things. So asking questions, definitely, especially when you're trying to refine what you're offering. And I know some of you guys watching this are like, well, I'm a musician, I'm in a band, I'm a producer. yeah, like what you're offering the world, your music, how you present it to them, the messaging behind it, who you're talking to, how you're talking to them. That all really is going to be benefited by asking questions, and it might not be like, what kind of music do you want to hear? But, with our social environment right now, doesn't it make you feel like this? And this is why I made this music. So it's relating, it's having a conversation. There's a million different ways to ask questions without asking people what their favorite color is. So I think that going out asking questions, but really having conversations, it's like, I look at a lot of this stuff like if we were politicians. If I were to ask somebody, if you were a politician looking to get votes, what would you do? Most people would say, well, you'd have to go to community events and go to the local mom and pop establishments and businesses to really get to know the people and get your face out there. Yet when it comes to the music thing, there's a complete disconnect because they think that I posted that to TikTok, it's going to go viral because I paid some guy $5,000 to shoot the video. And it typically doesn't work that way. We have to be politicians in a way with our marketing, with our salesmanship. And I know to a lot of people that might not come naturally, and that's okay. You don't have to be the, handsome, golden voiced blokes that you're seeing in front of you right now. But if you're a nerd, lean into it. If you're awkward, lean into it. Whatever you are most self-conscious about right now is typically going to be your unfair advantage because you're going to be able to relate to a bunch of people that don't feel seen, that don't feel like there's somebody out there trying to be the voice for them. And so I highly recommend going out there, finding those groups of people. Some people call it your tribe, and I know that's not politically correct anymore. So your cult. Some people might not like that either. Build a cult around you, but that really starts, the whole word cult could be evolved into a culture around what you're trying to provide. So I think that asking questions, being personable, being approachable, and being relatable. So many times, guys like us, we spend all this money on camera gear and audio gear to try to give you guys an A+ experience when you're consuming our content. Yet we also understand that sometimes you just got to pick up your phone, no matter what model it is, and just do it a little bit more raw. Because at the end of the day, no matter what we're trying to do within our businesses, we're just regular humans as well and want to connect with other humans. And that's the great thing about being in this field. It's the great thing about being able to connect with social media and being social, like you said.
Yeah, right. And by the way, thank you for the compliment right there. I saw that.
Of course, man.
I appreciate you. And something else that I wanted to add to compliment what you were saying about, tribe, cult, and stuff like that is you build a community around you where you're collecting the data, because what it's going to do for you is going to allow you to become a problem solver. You're offering the solution with your music, right? So oftentimes with music, we want to set the mood. We want to bring back nostalgia. We want to, something relatable that is going to help them connect with you with what you're sharing through your music. So just by asking some questions, it helps you become a problem solver. And I think that's really important. And the community aspect of it is really what's going to help you identify the people that want to support you for you, because they like you and you're relatable, and you build a community around your movement, right?
100%. I think that we overlook the importance of emotional triggers. Like you said, it could be nostalgia. It could be sorrow, sadness. It could be happiness. It could be laughter, joy. It could be a little bit suspense. It could be just amazement, like when we watch trick shot videos on TikTok. Right. And so I think that having the pacing of your content, really resonating, appreciating people's time and respecting it. Sometimes I can be a little long-winded, so I try to work on my pacing. I try to provide as much as I can without as much fluff or things that might be a bit of a lull within the content. And it's just practice. If you've been at it for 6 months and you're a bit discouraged, I didn't make a cent, really, maybe a couple dollars, but I didn't really make any money with my music for like 3 years after falling in love and diving headfirst into it. So you got to earn your stripes. You got to do it for a long time. And if music or anything for that matter is not something that you would do for 5 to 10 years before it really takes off, then you might have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, is this really what I want to do?
Exactly. So if somebody right now been at it for a little while on social media and they find themselves not having enough engagement, what would be some of the things that you would recommend to help increase that? Like what are some of the
Sure.
little things that you can do if you look at, somebody's account that, their engagement is a little bit low, and just point out a few things that you will start doing to help on that.
Yeah, the first thing, if you're on Instagram or TikTok and you're not getting a lot of engagement, look at who is following you, look who is looking at your content. So on Instagram, obviously the people that are following you, the people that are viewing stories, the people that are viewing reels, for example, you can see all that data, even if they don't follow you. Same with TikTok. If you enable who gets to see, you looking at theirs, vice versa. I don't want to skim over that. What you can do in TikTok, there's a setting that allows other people to see when you looked at their profile and vice versa. Then go there, open that up, and then go interact with 10, 20, 50 of different pieces of content from 50 different people every single day. What that's going to do is the law of reciprocity. And don't go out and just fake it. Only interact with stuff that you genuinely like, but go out and do this outreach manually, because it's going to trickle people back to not only checking you out, but following you, interacting with your stuff, even if it's a like, a heart, a thumbs up, whatever that looks like, because that's going to boost the algorithmic view of you. Because we have to understand the algorithm is really just AI. It's a computer trying to learn behaviors, right? So there's no like cheat code to the algorithm. People are like, I learned how to beat the algorithm. No, you learn how to optimize within the algorithm. So what we have to do is we have to bring people in, which kind of, I don't want to call it a value score per se, but that's kind of what it is, where people are like, or the AI is saying, wow, when Adam posts something now, a lot more people are coming over. A lot more people are coming over to Big Shot Beats content. So now they're going to show it to more of our people organically, which is going to save you a lot of time and money. But that's how I would start. I'd also look at all your captions. I'd say, is this engaging, or is it just a statement, or is it just hashtag living my best life? Like there's nothing to interact with when it comes to that. So those are just a few basics to make sure that don't ever come off self-absorbed, because if you do, there's nothing to say, there's nothing to do. Like, sure, if you have 250 million followers and you've been doing this for a decade and now you've become the next Drake or Charlie D'Amelio or whatever her name is over on TikTok, then yeah, cool. You don't have to interact with everybody. Things are kind of taken care of, but it's really about responding to the DMs, responding to almost every comment that you get, and really being part of that community, not just the guy who pulls up in his fancy car, goes into the office and never talks to his employees or their employees. It's really important to be in the mix when it comes to, if you want somebody to engage with your stuff, you can't be the person that's using social media without engaging in anybody else's stuff, because it's just like a relationship. If you're taking it seriously and really putting in your all in a relationship, you would hope at least that the other person would reciprocate. And that's social media, that's being social, that's part of the human element, and so just talk to the people that you resonate with most, have conversations with them, interact with their stuff, and just always try to be improving.
Law of reciprocity. That's huge right there. And it really starts with you, right? Like you want more engagement, start by giving more engagement to others. And it's going to circle back to you from what I'm understanding. And that's something that I, lead with as well, because if you lead with value, well, you're going to get some value back. And that's huge right there. So any last words that you want to share? I think that's pretty straightforward when it comes to increasing engagement and everything. Any last words you want to share, and where can people find you online? Sure. For those that may not know where you are?
No, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't know who the heck I am. So, I mean, if you want to go to musicmarketing.com, it's going to take you to my YouTube channel with a lot of free content, not trying to sell you on anything. Come check me out over there. I'm most active right now on Instagram and TikTok at Adam Ivy. And the last thing I have to say is you have to understand your gradient of growth. You're not going to go from just getting started to being a Grammy Award winner, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Like it doesn't look like that. We don't go into the gym on day one and say like in 90 days, I'm going to be in the greatest shape of my life running marathons. Like we understand that it takes aggressive patience to get to that endpoint. But look at where you were 6 months ago. Look at where you were 2 years ago. If you're seeing growth, all it's about is increasing your averages. And then over time, those averages get to a point where you're an overnight success. but you have to go through the work. You have to put in and be determined, put in the work and be determined and be obsessive while aggressively patient, and give it time because you have this vision that might be 5, 10, 20 years out. You have to let time catch up, but that only happens if you put in the work day after day. Yeah, that's all I got to say.
Awesome, my brother. Really appreciate your words of wisdom right there. That was amazing, man. So thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me to share some of that gold, music marketing gold on the Golden Voice podcast right here. And yeah, we're staying in touch anyways. And yeah, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you for the opportunity, man.
I really appreciate you tuning into the Golden Voice podcast today. There's so many other ones out there to listen to, and I don't take your interests lightly. I really hope that what I shared with you today made sense and helped put you on the right track to be independently successful with your music. So if it did, share this podcast episode with somebody else that would need it too. Cool? Now let's take a step further. Do you want instant notifications for when I upload new episodes? Text the word podcast to 647-277-5177. I repeat, text the word podcast to 647-277-5177, and I'll shoot you a quick text when I upload new Golden Voice podcast episodes in the future. So thanks again for tuning in, and I will talk to you on the next one.